Hello and welcome to the first of a series of videos, tutorial videos on Subnautica. This is an early access title on Steam. Great indie game, real gem among the survival games that are out there, survival sandbox. If you haven't picked this up, highly recommend it. Usually runs about 20 bucks on Steam, unless there's a sale, which happens fairly often. So sit back and enjoy. And if you've already purchased the game, I hope you learn a little bit. And if you haven't, enjoy the gameplay and see if it's maybe something you want to check out. So we start the game off. All we know is we were in a spaceship. There was some sort of problem. We are now in our life pod, escaping, and there's been an explosion. Pretty clear at this point, we're not going home on that ship. This little opening life pod sequence is something they added in the updates earlier this year. Used to just start on the planet in the life pod. I like it. I think it's a nice touch. Adds a little to the story. Alright, we got a fire in the life pod. Not good. Fortunately for us, we have a fire extinguisher right here. It will auto-equip it. Use the right mouse button to spray that fire till it's gone. Alright. Now once you spray the fire, you'll get a quick welcome from the PDA EVGA sort of system.
Greetings, survivor. Great job.
You can't skip this.
To assist you in further
Sorry.
survival in emergency situations. You have been issued this personal data assistant. The interface visible now will organize your inventory.
Alright.
Currently available
So,
construction blueprints.
the PDA tab activates it.
Please take a moment to familiarize
PDA is your
yourself.
inventory. All blueprints you're currently able to make. You'll discover more blueprints later in the game. A voice log. This is any sort of alert that your PDA gives you will show up here in text form. See, we just got this situational assessment. It got added to the log. You can take screenshots during the game with F11. They'll show up here. Later, you'll actually be able to put picture frames in your base, and you can put screenshots from your adventures in there. And the data bank, which right now just has some welcome information on your ship, some survival tips, but when we build a scanner, we'll actually be able to increase our data bank here. Over here, you have equipment slots. This is for a suit, a helmet, gloves, and boots, or in our case, fins. One oxygen tank and two other equipment slots, which we'll get to those a little later. So, first things first, this is our life pod. You can press E to unequip anything held in your hand. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice 5 circles. Those are our hotkeys. You can either scroll through those with your mouse wheel, or you can press the corresponding numbers to bring those up. They're numbered 1 through 5. So, quick run through the escape pod. This is the fabricator. This is sort of the heart of the game. This is going to make most everything we need. If you click on it with the left mouse button, you'll see these different categories. These are resources you can craft, advanced materials, electronics. We can make batteries, wiring kits, computer chips. Those will all come in handy later. Sustenance. Right now, the only blueprint we have is water, but when we go catch some fish, we'll automatically get some more blueprints for that. Personal equipment. We can make ourselves an oxygen tank, some fins, a couple of different suits, and then some tools, which we'll go over what we need here in just a minute, and deployables. So, what we're going to kind of focus on here in the beginning, and this is our medical kit fabricator, which here in a few minutes will start making us first aid kits. What we need to focus on first, if you look at the bottom left corner of your screen, we'll swim around while we're doing this, you'll notice there's an oxygen level, which when you're underwater will slowly go down, and you need to either surface or find one of these purple brain corals that you can bum air bubbles off of. Also, when you get your vehicles later, your Seamoth, your Cyclops, and your exosuit, going inside of those will refill your oxygen as well. Just below that is your health, which is replenished with first aid kits. Up under that is food, which you get by eating cooked fish or plants or vegetables. And below that is water. So pretty standard for a survival game. Here's some metal salvage we can pick up. Seaglide fragment. Okay. Well, that'll become useful when we get a scanner. So in the beginning, you want to pick up pretty much all the metal scrap that you can, and quartz. Those are two pretty primary ingredients in a lot of things we're going to be making. You also want to keep an eye out for these things right here. These are limestone outcrops. Now, you tap on them a few times and you get... Oh, keep an eye on that oxygen. I always forget before I build an oxygen tank. I've only got 45 oxygen, which isn't a whole lot. So yeah, look out for those limestone outcrops. They'll contain things like titanium and copper and lead. And a little later, when we venture a little bit further, we'll be looking for sandstone outcrops, which are found in the kelp forest. They have silver and gold in them, which we can use to make more advanced materials. So, that little sound you hear over here means the medical fabricator is ready, indicated by the blinking light, so we can pick up a first aid kit.
Hey, Daddy.
So,
You know what?
okay, I had to step away there for a minute. Now, if you notice in our inventory, we got that metal salvage that we had. So what we can do is go to the fabricator, go to resources, basics, and turn that into titanium. Each piece of metal salvage will make 4, and we have 3 pieces of salvage. So we can do that 3 times. Now, because I stepped away for a minute, it looks like my food and water situation has become pretty critical pretty fast. So, let's get back into the water. Now, we start in the safe shallows, which is one of the biomes in Subnautica that you'll learn about pretty quickly. Pretty much everything in the safe shallows is non-aggressive, and most of the smaller animals are edible. I'm waiting on some air here. Now, the highest nutrition guy is this little guy right here with the giant eye, but he's really hard to catch without a Seaglide. There's a fish called a bladderfish, which I don't see right now, that we can instantly create water out of. Okay, so let's take the fish we've caught and go make some food, because that's our most immediate concern. Subnautica is first and foremost a survival game. So you see now where we just had water before under sustenance, now we have cooked and cured food. Anything we're going to eat right away, just go to cooked food. Okay, let's go ahead and eat this fish. Cooked peeper. You see plus 32 food and plus 5 water. There we go. Now let's go ahead and cook up another one. Alright. Eat that guy too. We've still got some room. So let's cook boomerang. Alright. Yep, and we're getting to hear all about how we're going to die. And we've got another first aid kit here. Excellent. Let's go ahead and save, which is an option that we don't have in hardcore mode. One thing I forgot to point out about your escape pod or life pod, there is a built-in storage container, so if your inventory starts to get too full, you've got some slots here. We also have 2 nutrient blocks and 2 filtered waters to start, as well as a couple of flares. Now, it's just a matter of pride. I try to never use the food and water that comes with the life pod, but you don't have to be stupid like me. You can go ahead and use those. That's fine. So now we've got our food situation somewhat under control. Aha! See those really light-looking fish that look like little, well, almost like filters? Those are bladderfish. We can make filtered water out of those. Excellent. Now, if we can catch one more fish to eat, between that and the 2 bladderfish for water, I think we'll be good. We can start doing some more exploring and building. Okay. Good deal. So, sustenance, water. We can make filtered water out of a bladderfish. Excellent. And I think I caught 2 of them, so we can do that. And then I caught a whole fish, so let's cook that up. Alright, so now, eat the fish, drink the water, 86 and 74. I can live with that, and so can my guy. Now, since we've got some quartz and some titanium, I mentioned to you we can make an oxygen tank, which is under equipment. And for that I need glass and titanium. Now glass is made out of quartz, so let's take 2 of those, make some glass, and let's make an oxygen tank so we can stay underwater longer. Now you can make multiple oxygen tanks. The first one you make will automatically be equipped into this slot here. And if you notice, you can use the left mouse button to unequip it. You can craft extra tanks to give yourself more air, but each tank other than the one you have equipped will take up 4 inventory slots, so just be aware of that. Okay, now the other tools we're going to need in the beginning part of the game. We are going to need a scanner. A scanner is absolutely essential. With a scanner we can scan the fish and the plants in the area, which is not all that important, but more importantly we can scan fragments. Now fragments are what give us new blueprints, things like the Seamoth, which is a mini sub, the Cyclops, which is a full-size submarine, different components for base building. So the scanner is very, very important. The welder, important in several different aspects of the game, one of which being repairing our life pod so we can start getting transmissions from our communications relay. So, oh, it's a tool. So for that we need magnesium and crashfish powder, which we'll get to those in a few minutes. The flashlight, you know, if you're going to do a lot of exploring at night, you can use that or not. The knife, super, super essential. So that'll be one of the first things that we craft. The air bladder helps you get to the surface quickly. I personally don't really use it much. The flare, same thing. It's an underwater light source. It lights up dark areas and caves. Again, I don't use it that much. The habitat builder. If you want to start building a base and establish an underwater permanent place where you can sort of build rooms and upgrade, that's going to be an essential for us too. So I think the first 2 pieces of equipment we should focus on are the scanner and the knife. So for the knife I need silicone rubber and titanium. And if you go here and look at silicone rubber, what I need is 2 creepvine seed clusters. So let's get going. Now creepvines, if you swim around a little bit in all directions, you'll probably see one pop up. Ah, there's one right over there. So one of the biomes that, let me grab some salt so I can make magnesium here in a few minutes. One of the biomes that sort of borders the safe shallows and kind of wraps around it in a few places, and there's more than one of these areas, is the kelp forest. And the kelp forest is what has creepvines. Those are these tall green vines you see. The problem with the kelp forest is they also have these guys here, stalkers. They look like little sharks. That's because they're little sharks. So you want to generally try and avoid those guys if you can. Some more quartz. In the beginning, it's probably just better to pick up as much as you can because you got plenty of inventory space. You haven't started filling it up yet. Alright, so for silicone rubber, I need 2 of these bad boys right here. Creepvine seed clusters. Now that I've got them, I'm going to get out of here. Get away from those sharks.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
And while I'm doing it, I'm going to go up to the surface and get some air. There we go. Ooh, that was close. Yes, thank you for coughing and making me feel like a jerk. Appreciate that. Alright, we're a good safe distance from these guys here. One fun thing about these sharks, you can actually, if you notice when you catch those little fish, if you have an empty slot in your hotbar inventory, let me see if I can catch one and show you. That was too big. Ah, the bladderfish. That'll be a good one. We need some more water anyway. So you can, when you catch it, it goes right into one of your hotbar slots and it's equipped in your hand. Now if I swim around like this by one of the sharks, what they'll actually do is they'll eat the fish out of my hand and they'll leave me alone for a few minutes. It's almost like a form of taming, but it's not permanent. So if you really need to get in there and there's a shark in your way, that's something to keep in mind. Go ahead and make some more water here. Now we got our 2 creepvine seed clusters. We can make our silicone rubber. Now we have silicone rubber and we have titanium. So let's go ahead and make that knife. That's going to be vital. Alright, good deal. And when you make an equipable piece of equipment and you have an open slot in your hotbar, it will automatically equip to the next slot. So you can see my knife is now in the number 2 slot. When you equip something for the first time, he's going to do a fun little, hey, check this out, look what I made. Haha. Alright, let's go ahead and start freeing up some inventory space here. We don't need the fire extinguisher right now. We're going to drink the water. Okay. Now, something else I forgot to point out. These are not tools, these are equipment. We've already made an oxygen tank. In order to be able to swim considerably faster underwater, we need to make fins. So the silicone rubber we just made, we need 2 of those to make a pair of fins. We're going to need to make a radiation suit here before too long, before the Aurora explodes, because if we get too close to the Aurora without one, the radiation will kill us. But we'll get to that in a minute. So let's go get some more of those creepvine seed clusters so that we can make some fins. That'll help us swim a lot faster. Things will go much smoother for us. This is one of those games. This is really, really a gem of a game. You don't hear a lot about this game, although when you do, it's always good things. But it's so, I mean, look around. Look at this. This is such a unique environment. The underwater survival is something that just nobody else has done. You play these games like Rust and Empyrean, which are excellent games, by the way. I love both of those games. But this one just stands apart, in my opinion. Now, one thing I will point out to you is you'll notice situations where you go into a new area and it looks like nothing is loading, and all of a sudden things will just sort of pop into view. That's a little bit of a problem they're having still. They haven't fully optimized all the graphics, so pop-in is not an uncommon phenomenon with this game. One thing I forgot to point out is creepvine seed clusters are another one of those things that will take up 4 inventory slots, so you can't just grab a bunch of them. You're kind of limited. Alright, but yeah, you notice how slowly we're swimming, just trudging along. Pay attention to that, because when we get the fins, we're going to be going quite a bit faster. Oh, I got some more lead. Or did I get lead the first time? I just have 1 lead. Okay. To make the radiation suit, we need some lead, so I'm keeping an eye out for that. Yeah, there's our poor ship. Don't think anybody's going home in that puppy. Just a feeling I get. Okay. Now, we've got 4 creepvine seed clusters, so we can make 2 silicone rubber. 1 and 2. Let's make some fins, yo! When you make a piece of equipment that is equipable, and you don't have anything in that slot, it will equip it for you automatically, like it did with the tank and the fins. So now let's take a look at swimming with fins on. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better. Okay. So we've got our knife. We've got our fins. We've got an oxygen tank. Let's go ahead and make some more water since we caught a bladderfish. It's not a bad idea, actually, to catch quite a few bladderfish and make yourself a stockpile of water. It's not going to hurt anything. Don't make a stockpile of cooked fish. Cooked fish go bad very quickly, and as they go bad, the food value goes down and eventually gets negative, and so does the water value. So only cook fish as you need them. If you need something longer term, consider the cured food, which is basically you need a salt deposit and the fish. It will not give you as much food, and it'll actually give you a slightly negative water, but you can hold on to it long term. You can keep it as a snack for later. So, all right, next tool we need to get, the scanner. We need a battery, and we need titanium. Titanium we've got plenty of. So battery, what do we need for that? 2 acid mushrooms, which we don't have, and copper ore, which we do have. We got it from one of those outcrops. So the acid mushrooms are pretty darn easy to find. They're these really bright colored mushrooms in the safe shallows here. So we got 2 of them. All right. Let's make a battery. Now we have a battery. We have titanium. Let's make our scanner. Cool. Now we're in business. Got a scanner and a knife. We can do some real work here. And that looks like a fragment I can scan right here. It is the Seaglide. So if you notice, as I scan each fragment, up in the top left there, it says 1 out of 2 scanned. So when you scan the required number of fragments, you unlock the blueprint. Now what the Seaglide is a little sort of handheld propeller thing that makes you go faster under the water. Don't really have a much more technical explanation than that. So with the scanner you can also scan, like I can scan these weeds, I can scan the mushrooms, I'll get some information on their biology. I'll get some information on what sort of uses they have in crafting, if any. Get some air here. And she is letting us know you can actually scan one of the pieces of metal salvage the first time you get the scanner, and it'll give you some insight on the cause of the wreck. Though I can tell you it's not entirely known. But yeah, if these things have uses in crafting, it can sort of give you an insight on that. So if you scan the acid mushroom, you know it's useful in crafting batteries, which is kind of silly because you had to craft a battery in the first place to get a scanner. So, you know, if you're able to catch these fish long enough, you can scan them, and it saves your progress. So every little blip I get, I'm not losing what I've already scanned. So I'm at 38%. If I catch them again, 39, 40. But we won't worry about that right now. It's just so you know you can scan these guys. Now I'm pretty sure I saw another Seaglide fragment over where we got the creep mines. Which was where? Which direction? In the beginning, you're just going to have to look around for these fragments. They're pretty much scattered everywhere. With the latest update, they've put some more actual models of what the fragments look like. Some of them still look like just cubes. They look like little white cubes. They look different from wreckage cubes, but aha, this direction. Here we go. We need to go over here. Pretty sure I know this is on the Seaglide fragment over here. But that's one cool thing that they're doing is they're always updating this game. Now let's go ahead and get this while we're at it. We can scan it too. All the fragments used to just look like cubes, and so you had to swim right up on it, see what the name of it was, before you actually knew what you were scanning. But they're working very hard on making the fragments actually look like pieces of the blueprints you get. So, I'm pretty sure I saw a fragment over here. We'll keep looking. And you got to be kind of wary of exploring at night. Creatures that are even dangerous during the day tend to get a little bit more dangerous during the night. So, well, these are still just scrap metal. What is that? That's some salt. We'll pick that up too. We need a third salt and magnesium. And while we're here, it's telling us to cut the creep vine with a knife. So let's go ahead and do that. Pretty sure we need 2 samples for the blueprint. We're getting later. What is that? Oh, that's quartz. Okay, well, the search continues. We're looking for the other piece of the Seaglide. And we're picking up some more metal salvage while we're at it. Of course, having the fragments look like actual fragments now adds a little bit more challenge to the game too, because before, fragments were really easy to spot. You just see this cube sitting on the seabed that looks really out of place. And they're really, really easy to spot. So, just adds another layer to the game, makes the graphics a little nicer. And when you do actually spot a fragment, though, now you have a good idea of what it is without having to get right up on it. So I think that's kind of cool. What is that? Is that more salvage? Yeah. Man. Just not having a whole lot of luck with these fragments. But that's the game. Okay, well, we keep looking. Right. No, we're not getting too close to the ship. That's fine. Oh, is that one? Nope, that's more salvage. Okay. Now also, somewhere in the safe shallows, there's a life pod that will sometimes spawn a radiation suit, so that you don't have to find the pieces of it and build it yourself. You can just find that life pod. I think for our purposes today, we'll go ahead and try and build the suit, just so you can kind of see the process and go through it. But at the same time, if I happen to run across that life pod, I'm not going to turn it down. Okay. I'm going to need to eat soon. Food's getting low. Ah! Oh, there you go. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is one of those fragments that's just a cube. It's a solar panel fragment, which is excellent. when we get ready to build a base, a solar panel is going to be really our only means of power in the beginning. So a solar panel is one of the other fragments I highly suggest finding as soon as possible. Okay, we're going to move on. Another tip for you, if you don't have an equipped item in your hand, you will swim faster. Oh, what are you? You're a fragment, aren't you? Nope, more metal salvage. Man. I think they spread these fragments out more in one of these updates. It's good, though. It's good. Oh, is that the life pod I've been looking for? Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. All right, let's go check it out. Let's go see if we got a radiation suit sitting here waiting on us. Oh, we do. Radiation helmet, abandoned PDA, radiation gloves. Whoa, that was weird. And a radiation suit. Fantastic. Woo, man, like Eva got some helium in her. Okay, so if you notice, now we have a radiation suit, helmet, and gloves. That is one step that you can skip now. So just to kind of give you an idea where this life pod is, the life pods are always in the same spot. So we're sort of on the back left corner of the Aurora here. If you happen to be swimming around the safe shallows in this area and you see this big thermal vent that erupts every few seconds, it's really close to that. So there you go. Now while I was on my way here, I thought I saw another fragment. I did. It's right there. It's that little cube. It's probably going to be the other solar panel fragment. Yes, sir. 2 out of 2. Okay. Now, before you get too worried, there are more than 2 fragments for everything. You only need 2 fragments for most blueprints, though. I think there's usually a crash fish living in here. Now, crash fish are these little guys that live in these pods. And when you get too close to them, they come out of their pod, swim straight at you, and explode. They're not very friendly. But you need crash fish powder in order to make a welder. You don't get crash fish powder from the crash fish itself. You get it from the pod that it leaves behind. So, just something to keep an eye out for. Always look around wrecks for salvage and fragments. Maybe we can see another Seaglide fragment over here. We need to get that thing made so we can get around faster. Okay. Scanner out. Nope, that's salvage, that's salvage. That's salvage. That's salvage. Alright. So right now, let's head back toward our life pod.
Emergency. Seismic readings suggest a quantum detonation
but first...
occurred in the Aurora's drive core.
Oh, there it is. Seaglide fragment. Excellent. We can make a Seaglide now. Let's celebrate our achievement by watching the Aurora explode.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, yep. If it wasn't already obvious, nobody is going home in that ship. And I mean nobody. I like the effect of seeing the... Oh, goodness. Excuse me, sir. Did not mean to come too close to you. I like the effect of having the shockwave underwater. I think that's really cool how they do that. Yeah, graphically, this game is just, I think, stunning. I think it's just a stunning looking game. Once they really optimize and minimize sort of the pop-in, and they actually have an Xbox One version of this too. Once they get the Xbox One version optimized, I think it's going to be hard to beat this game. And I don't mean with another game. Yeah, probably should clarify that. Oh, you probably just noticed I scanned another solar panel fragment. One thing about this game, when you have the blueprint already for what you're looking for, if you scan another fragment, the scanner will just turn it into 2 titanium and put it in your inventory. So, all right.
10 seconds of oxygen
I got you.
remaining.
Get some air. Let's go drop some stuff off, see what we need to make a Seaglide, catch some fish, and continue on. So, Yeah, so the safe shallows is where you always start. Now, your life pod will not always spawn in the same place. It will always spawn in the safe shallows, but it could spawn at a different part of the safe shallows at any given time. So just something to keep in mind. Let's put these away because we'll need those. Well, we don't really need them anymore. We did need them when we were going to make a radiation suit. And let me go ahead and point that out to you in case you don't happen to find that. So the radiation suit, you need 2 fiber mesh and 2 lead. And fiber mesh is made with those creepvine samples. So the rubber is made with the seeds. The fiber mesh is made with the creepvine itself, so you have to hit it with a knife. We have 3 pieces of salt, so let's go ahead and make some magnesium. Okay, now the Seaglide is a deployable, so what do we need for that? We need a battery, which we can do. We need lubricant, which for that we're going to need 3 creepvine seed clusters. And we need copper wire, which for that we need 2 pieces of copper, which we already have. Excellent. So there, that's one component already. And we have an extra copper to make a battery with. So let's go ahead and get the acid mushrooms and do that. So I think the only thing we're going to need to make our Seaglide is going to be lubricant, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we need lubricant. Lubricant is 3 creepvine seed clusters. We can hold 1, 2, not quite 3. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and cook these fish, eat them, cook the boomerang. Let's go ahead and make water out of the bladderfish. I almost never cook the bladderfish because water you can hang on to, you can keep, you can store it. So there's not really much point to cooking the bladderfish when you can turn them into water and stockpile it. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so now we have plenty of room for creepvine seed clusters. We are almost ready to make a Seaglide. And if we happen to run across a crash fish, which they tend to hang out in caves, holes, let's see if we can find one. Well, that's not so much of a cave as it is an arch. But we're going to keep looking. Well, we'll worry about it in a minute. Let's go get these seeds. Oh, there's kelp forest on either side of me here. Excellent. Let's go get some air. That's a cave. I bet we can find a crash fish in there. Pretty confident we can. We'll come back there in a minute. Alright. You can always tell the seeds because they are nice and lit up. And we got 3. So that's what we need for lubricant. So let's get out of there before a shark shows up. Now let's go get air again. Oh, that is not a cave. That is a thermal vent. Well, okay. Not going down there looking for a crash fish. If you get stuck in a thermal vent when it erupts, I believe it can kill you. I'm not 100% sure. But at the same time, I'm not going to take the chance. Okay, they must keep swimming in a circle there, Mr. Shark. Nothing to see here. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and catch a few extra fish while we're swimming around here. Okay. Oh, can I get him? Can I get him? Ah, got it. All right. There's got to be a cave around here somewhere. We'll find one in just a second. Let's go take care of this. Because I think now we can make our Seaglide. First things first. Cook up some fish. Cook them up, cook them up, cook them up. Oh, I caught 2 of those. Nice. Alright. This guy gives us a lot of food, so we should be good for a little while. Okay. And yes, I know we've got another one of those ready. Sweet. Let's make our lube. Now, I think, let's see, we've got a battery, lubricant, copper wire, and titanium. I think that is everything we need for a Seaglide. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to take a moment here to point out the fact that you can rearrange things in your hotbar. So I'm going to make my Seaglide number 1 by putting the mouse over it, hitting 1. I'm going to make the scanner 2, the knife 3. That's just the setup I roll with. You use what's good for you. Okay, so Seaglide is nice because it gives us a very nice boost of speed, number one. Number two, it has a built-in light on it. Really helps for exploring at night. So you think the fins made you fast, Seaglide really makes you fast. The only real problem with it is it eats through battery at a pretty quick rate. So you have to craft more batteries to refill it, reload it. Okay, this looks promising. We might find a crash fish in here. Don't see any. They're pods attached to the sides of walls. Nope. Nada. Well, let's keep looking. Alright, let's grab some air. Stay away from those guys. I did mention everything in the safe shallows is passive and will not attack you. But these guys here are sort of wimps and very defensive. So when you get too close to them, they will release these pods from their hind parts that explode into poison gas clouds. So try and avoid that if you can. Alright. Yeah, we need to get that welder. Need a crash fish. Come out, come out. Oh, here's a cave. This is, aha. Yep, there's one. I'm looking right at it right now. That is a crash fish pod. Now, crash fish swim very fast, but they also swim very straight, and they're not very maneuverable. So once the pod opens and it comes after you, best thing to do... Oh, well, it's swimming away from me now. Oh, nice. So look inside. This one did not leave powder. That one left an egg. But there was another pod right past it, so we'll go get some air and we'll come back. Alright, well, we found the right cave. And they're all over the place. They're not just... Okay. Ooh, there's two more pods. Alright. So if you catch one swimming right at you, swim right at it, and then turn around because they don't have the maneuverability to turn around in time. Let's check these pods. Crash fish powder. Yes, sir. Okay, let's get out of here. Grab this quartz on the way. Oh, hello, Mr. Gas Pod. Don't hit me. And you've probably noticed by now, but I haven't pointed out, your life pod has a little beacon on it, so you can always find it. It's a nice thing. When you build your own base, you can actually build your own beacon. Name it whatever you want, so you can know where your base is and find it. But we'll save that for another video. Okay. Now. Oh, tools. We've got the magnesium, the crash fish powder, and the titanium. Alright, let's fix the life pod, folks. Alright, and it automatically went to slot 4, which is where I put it anyway. So yes, let's admire it. It's nice and beautiful and pretty. Okay, now let's weld. Now, fixing this part of the escape pod, I'm not really sure what it does other than turn the lights on and make all these things green. But you can now repair this, which I don't think works until you actually repair the life pod. So you'll get communications messages on this, some of which will have a signal on them. Yep. And those signals will lead you to different wrecks. So, oh, a new message has arrived. Let's see what it has to say here. Automated bounce back from the Aurora. Your distress signal has been received. Emergency relief team will be dispatched. Estimated arrival time is 99999 hours. Okay. Well, I think it's pretty clear that no help is coming soon. So, yeah. Gonna have to make it on our own. Okay. Sounds like we have another message. Let's go check it out. What do we got? There's an automated distress signal from Aurora Life Pod 6. Coordinates attached. Please send immediate emergency relief team. Okay. What's the next one? This is Lafette in Life Pod 17. Survived impact, but something outside the hatch. Trying to get in. If anyone's still out there, my coordinates are attached. Anticipate losing radio contact in static. Okay, so this is a good time to point out those equipment slots that I mentioned were for other. You can usually put signals there. So LifePod 6 and LifePod 17. Now if I look around, you'll notice, yep, there's LifePod 6 in the distance. There's LifePod 17 in the distance. Now LifePod 6 is the one where we got the radiation suit. I know that because I play this game a lot. LifePod 17 is the place that we're going to go when we're ready to actually start exploring and getting more fragments. But for right now, we need to focus on making our last essential tool for the first hour, which is the habitat builder. We need a computer chip and a battery. Now we don't have any copper, I don't think. We don't have any stored. We do not. So we need to go get some copper. For a computer chip, that gets a little trickier because for a computer chip we need silver. Silver is not found in the safe shallows. Silver is found in sandstone outcrops, which can only be found, as far as I know, in the kelp forest. I think you can find them in the Grand Reef and in the grassy plateaus, but I know for a fact you can find them in the kelp forests. So let's actually swim to the top here, get some air, and we'll make a dive for it. The other tricky part about sandstone outcrops is you can't really tell them apart from limestone outcrops. You have to get right up on them and see what it says. So that's still limestone. Usually it's closer to the bottom or in caves. Limestone. So we have to be mindful and watch out for those sharks. That is limestone. Come on, let's get lucky. Oh, there's a shark. Hopefully it didn't see me. Limestone. Sandstone. Silver. Okay, we're good. Now you'll notice I went ahead and unequipped my Seaglide. That's because there are no sharks really close to me and I'm almost out of battery power. So trying to conserve it as much as possible. I'm going to head to the surface and head back toward my life pod. Okay. So yeah, silver is the one component that we need in the first hour that we can't find in the safe shallows. Everything else we can find there. So now that we're out of the kelp forest and we're relatively safe, we don't need the Seaglide for speed anymore. One good thing you can do with the Seaglide is actually not equip it all the time. Just save it for quick getaways. If you've got a shark coming up on you, or if you've got a crash fish that's about to crash into you, and you need to get out of there quick, just have it in your hotbar, equip it, and have a burst of speed. It'll outrun pretty much everything in this part of the game. Later on, it won't be that helpful, but right now, use it. That's why it's there. Okay, so we need some more copper ore to make our battery, which means we need to look and find more limestone outcrops. But first, we need to breathe. Okay. One thing you can do, and I usually do this, is go ahead and build a second tank and take up those extra 4 inventory slots. Just having that extra oxygen to stay underwater a little bit longer is kind of nice early game, but I oftentimes will opt for the extra inventory space since I'm really in more of a gathering mode. See, this is what the Seaglide fragments look like. They look like the Seaglide itself, which is nice. We'll get some extra titanium this way. Go ahead and scan that. Alright, give me some copper. Nope. Give me some copper. Yes. Awesome. Alright, we got the copper. Now we need 2 mushrooms for our battery. We got that. And where's the life pod? There it is. Then all we need to do is figure out what else we need for the... Actually, you don't have to go to the fabricator to look at blueprints. So I need a computer chip, I know that. I can go to my menu and click blueprints here. So a computer chip needs 2 table coral sample. Alright, that's easy enough. So table coral is any of this coral that's growing sort of on the sides of the rocks. I think there's purple, red, I think there's green in other areas. So cut it with a knife and pick it up. Cut it with a knife and pick it up. And we got our 2. So now we are in business. We are really ready to rock this thing. Okay. Okay. Now, We've got everything we need to make a battery, so let's make it. We've got everything we need to make a computer chip, so let's make it. And let's go ahead and cook the fish we've got. So, a couple of waters. And I think we caught a boomerang. Now, let's eat up. Back to our inventory. Eat the fish, drink the water, drink the water. Now, we've got our battery, we've got our computer chip. Let's make a habitat builder. Okay. So the last part of this tutorial is going to focus on establishing yourself a permanent residence underwater. Oh yes, it's a nice, beautiful tool. This is basically a portable fabricator. Look at that. Freaking Eclipse. I don't think I've ever seen that before in this game. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so we can talk more in detail later about scouting out a good location for your base, but for our purposes, we'll just go pretty close to the escape pod on a nice, relatively flat piece of land here. Once you've got the fabricator equipped, you click the right mouse button, and you've got pieces, exterior modules, interior pieces, interior modules, and miscellaneous. And you'll find more for these later. I always like to start by putting down a foundation. The base system in this game uses hull points. So you'll see up in the top left, +2 to hull strength, total now 12. Every time you build a living component, it will take away from the hull points. Once your hull points reach 0 or less, what will happen is your base will start to leak, it will lose power, and it will flood. So any chance you get to sort of reinforce it by adding hull points, take the opportunity. So now let's build an X quarter. So we'll have, I'm going to do a T quarter. So we'll have a little nice, you can hit the E and Q keys to rotate as you see fit. So this will have me a nice little entrance. Now you can't actually get into your base without a hatch. For that I need glass and titanium. Now I've got plenty of quartz, so I'll just go turn 2 of them into the glass. Fight the temptation to turn all of your quartz into glass early in the game. What do we got here? Another life pod signal. Now, we've got 2 signals already equipped, so that signal just goes into our inventory. We can swap them out if we like. So since I've already found life pod 6, I've already got all of its goodies, its PDAs, I'll unequip it and equip life pod 7. And you can do whatever you want with that. So life pod 7 is over that way. We can check that out later. So now I've got titanium, quartz, I've got titanium and glass. So I can build an entrance into my base. Let's go ahead and bust out the hatch here. Any of these sort of entry points you can put the hatch onto. So let's do that. And now we can go inside. Now, this is why it's important to find the solar panel fragment. If you notice, my oxygen level is still going down. You also notice that there are no lights on in the base. The base has to have power. So to build a solar panel, I need 2 quartz and 2 titanium, which again is why I said don't turn all of your quartz into glass right away. Quartz is useful. You need quartz to make computer chips. You need quartz to make solar panels. So 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, so I've got 6 quartz and 6 titanium. I can go ahead and make 3 solar panels, which should provide plenty of power for now. The solar panels provide power they charge during the day. If you don't use the power that they get during the day, it'll stay, it'll be available for use. But if you use it, they won't start recharging until the sun comes back up. And that's the sound of my base power coming online right there. Now you can build the solar panels on the seabed floor. You can build the solar panels on your foundation. You can build the solar panels on top of your base components. The danger in building on top of base components or a foundation is if you build anything else on top of it. So let's say I were to build a solar panel right here, but then I were to add a corridor on. That corridor would overwrite the solar panel and it would disappear. As long as you put the solar panels within reasonable proximity of your base, I don't know what the distance limit is, you can kind of figure that out for yourself, they will automatically transmit their power to your base.
10 seconds.
I'm almost out of oxygen, but now that my base has power, there we go. Welcome aboard, Captain. Welcome home. Now, I'll just point out some other things you can make inside your base. Under interior modules, you can make a full storage locker. You can make a wall locker that's a little bit smaller but holds less. You can add more corridors. You can make an I corridor and attach it. You can make an L corridor and make it turn however you want. You can make an X corridor and just have little outcrops for storage. Anything you want that you have a blueprint for. Just bear in mind, and it says, you can see right under where it tells you the hull points. So a corridor is -1, L corridor is -1, glass is -2, obviously. Vertical connectors only -1/2. Reinforcement modules +7. So everything there tells you how it affects the base's hull points. So let's sit back and sort of figure out what we've done here. We got food and water. We made ourselves, or we found a radiation suit, though we could have built it just as easily. We made fins to swim faster. We made an oxygen tank to breathe underwater longer. We built ourselves a scanner and a knife. We made a welder and repaired the life pod. We found the Seaglide for quick getaways. And we made a habitat builder so that we could start making a permanent underwater presence in the world of Subnautica. So, I think we're going to wrap things up here for this video in the series. This has been sort of a quick overview on how to get through your first hour. It may take a little less than an hour. It may take a little longer. It sort of depends on luck and where you find fragments and where you find resources. So don't get discouraged if you get an hour into Subnautica and haven't gotten all this done. If you find yourself 30 minutes in and you've already done more than this, then kudos and congratulations, and keep exploring. Let me know if you guys like the video. I'd love to make more in the series. I'd love to go and find the sea moth and find the Cyclops fragments. And now that the Aurora has exploded, I would love to go show you guys the inside and what all goodies you can find in there. Show you some of the more dangerous areas of the game that have some really cool, really freaking creepy creatures. But just let me know. We'll do whatever you guys need. If you like the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Feel free to leave any comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what we could do better next time. This is BK1 Guy signing off. Until next time.